tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, all of my Legend of Korra, there's the music. Fans out there, how are you doing tonight? We are here, me and Mr. Tauri J. Miller.
Hey.
And Mr. John Quick is here in spirit. Such cute, sad music.
Hey there, everybody. I'm John Quick, and I'm going to be your disembodied voice for the show.
Yes.
Awesome.
Surprises galore. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. My name's Liz Rishmawy, and we are here recapping on AFTERBUZZ TV, your Legend of Korra panel. And we're going to be recapping episode 12, Day of Colossus, and episode 13, The Last Stand. So, like he introduced, Mr. John Quick could not be with us tonight. He is visiting in Canada land, visiting with his wife's family for the holidays. We wish him the best. We should could be here, but he will be with us in spirit and, as you could hear, vocally.
Yeah, and tweet him, let him know that you miss him and all that stuff.
Yes, we will also be doing the live YouTube show. You can catch us live right now on the chat. I'll retweet the YouTube link once I got it on YouTube. Please also tweet us. Tauri and I will be on Twitter. We can answer your questions today. I'm at Lizzie Maui. That's LIZZY-MAWY. Tauri?
And I'm at Tauri J. That's TAURIJAY.
All right, great. And you guys can also just tag hashtag LOKABTV. And in case you can't get our Twitter handles there, we can at least try to follow you there. All right. So, first things first, I have to ask you, overall as a whole, what did you think about, what are your thoughts about the finale?
I thought the finale was really good. I love giant mech stuff, so the fact that I get it with my Korra, it's like, you get your peanut butter and your chocolate, and you put them together, and it makes something amazing, and that's what I got in this finale.
And Officer
That's a really good point.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
I love that he
You're the
always,
best.
Yeah. So I thought it was really fun. It had just enough emotional stakes, and also a good amount of great action sequences.
Yeah, definitely. And like you mentioned in the episode last week when I was kind of saying about, I have a friend who's a 3D artist, and he was kind of, you know, being all meh about the giant Colossus robot with the weapon and how the animation was a little iffy. You did mention how it's probably because they're saving a lot of their money for the season finale, making it better. And
Yeah.
I did immediately notice as soon as those mechas started walking on screen that the animation was a little bit improved for the season finale, which I really appreciate. I've always loved the animation. I am not a stickler for it. I'm just going to say I was just repeating what a friend said. But yeah, let's get into episode 13, The Last Stand. It's the first half of the hour finale that we went into. We start off with basically they're all trying to figure out what the heck to do because of the giant mecha that is coming, and it doesn't seem to be stoppable. And I think it starts off with them just coming up with a plan, right? Milo is the one who suggests the water balloons.
They're all convening because they realized how powerless they are against this giant mech. And yeah, like Milo decides that it would be a good idea to fill up balloons with paint so that they can blind it while they distract it.
Exactly.
And in the midst of this meeting, before the paint balloon thing happens, is that when Hiroshi joins everybody.
That's right. I did get a little out of that with that. And I think Lynn is the one who kind of just made the point, well, Jail's still going to be there if they don't take over, so we can always bring him back.
Yeah.
But we need as many geniuses as we can to figure out what to do about this. And I believe it was, oh goodness, Varrick was working on those machines to try the hummingbirds, which I was like, oh my gosh, wait, you guys have hummingbirds? It's not like a hummingbird monkey or like, were you not surprised at that? Because I was a little bit. It wasn't like some weird animal that was like a hybrid,
right?
Like mosquito bird. But yeah, like they were working on that, and a lot of it, I believe it just from the beginning he got destroyed, and they were just happy everybody was safe and sound. They met up, and that's when we found that Hiroshi was let out because Lynn figured we need everything we can get, especially since most of the hummingbird mechas were destroyed when Kuvira shot at the factory, almost killing everybody, including her fiance.
Right. So yeah, they had all but 2 were destroyed, and I'm glad that because earlier in the season we had Hiroshi come in, and there was that little moment that he had with Asami, and I was like, I hope this goes somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that like his redemptive arc was really, it was tightly packed in this one thing, and it didn't draw out, and it was a really touching thing that happened.
Yeah, and I think bringing back to, are you a little disappointed with how Junior?
Bataar?
Yes. How we come to that scene where basically, before we get into the rest of the action, how he's having that moment with Sue about, you know, I'm sorry I betrayed you. You know, I can't believe she did this to me. She was my whole world. And she's saying, you know, I love you. We'll give them time. They'll come around. But we're your family, so we'll be here for you.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice way to wrap it up, but at the same time, I felt a little disappointed that he wasn't tiny bit more involved with how the whole thing went down or figuring out how to destroy it.
And now I'm sad.
Basically.
As you should be, John.
As you should be.
I mean, well, my thoughts on it were that he's not a bender, so he can't do anything physically. He could have helped them with maybe the hummingbirds, but even then, I think he was crippled at that point. Not crippled, but he was down for the count.
Crippled. Yeah, no, perhaps. Okay, I just got well, it's not a tweet as much as it, but it is relevant to the show. Yes, Adam, I did mention you on air. You are the friend who was mentioning the wonky 3D animation. You're welcome. Anywho, yeah, so I really, I don't know, like, I just feel like it was one of those things where it's like, yes, it's fine the way it is, but I guess because you guys and fans out there have to, and anybody can agree with me here, I hold the original airbending series in such high regard. Yeah. I have no complaints whatsoever about any of the series seasons in that series.
Okay.
So when it comes to Legend of Korra, I love this show, but I am going to be so super picky and judgmental to every little thing just because of how much I hold the first show in high regard. So as far as that is concerned, I just wish that he had some more. I was like, come on, like, don't you want revenge? She broke your heart. You know, like, drink some, get angry, throw the bottle at the mecha. You know,
that would help.
It would.
No,
inside.
Well, I mean, he did essentially give them the means for their plan. He told them all of the weaknesses that he knew of in the mech. So he's like, this is how you shut it down. These are the main entry points.
It's really Hiroshi who did that, though. When we think about it, he said, I'm sorry I can't help you, but it runs on the spirit energy of the vines. There's nothing we can do. I'm sorry I can't be more helpful.
Right.
So I guess, in a way, it's kind of like, wah, wah. All right, you suck. Just go lay over there and heal your heart and your body.
Yeah.
But then we have Hiroshi, who basically gives them the idea, like, look, this is a giant monster thing. Let's shut it down from the inside. We got to get the organs and the heart and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, you evil guy with your inside, get it from the inside. So yeah, so we have a plan now. So that's when we jump on into, you know, them trying to distract them. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, Hiroshi sets up a plan to what is it?
He wanted to use the plasma saws.
The plasma saws, and they just have to, because there's only 2 hummingbird mechas left at this point. That was in Asami's office, luckily. So while they're working on that, we have to basically now distract the mecha to make sure that they have a chance to actually get to do that. Yeah. And cut to the water balloons. I was very excited about the water balloons. So they're pounding the water balloons on the thing, and I'm actually really I was, as soon as I saw the thing, I thought the plan was gonna backfire.
Which thing?
Where they had like the little windshield wipers and they're gonna wipe it off. I'm like, oh god, it's just paint.
Well, my thing was that, like, if they had windshield wipers, why couldn't someone start water bending the stuff that they were using?
Or like maybe it wasn't water-based paint. Does acrylic have water in it?
Well, I mean, but
somebody read the back of a label of a paint and just like tweet it to us.
But even the water that was used to clean the paint off, they could have used to like ice over the windshield that way. But I mean, though they didn't do it at that point, like, we got a really good payoff for water bending later.
Yeah.
So I'm forgiving it because when Korra did use the water to freeze over the Colossus, it was amazing.
Yes.
And the whole Operation Distraction was great. You got Lin and Suyin throwing buildings.
Oh my God.
All the airbenders pushing.
And then we have the metal benders. I think they're throwing the metal cords around the legs, trying to trip it, and then Bolin's just like, enough of this, and just like comes in basically and just like, I'm gonna give you hot foot.
Yeah.
And it was so amazing. And part of me was like, I'm not very good at science. I don't remember the chemistry table of all the things and stuff, but like, I would feel like platinum would melt a little faster with the lava. Like, I feel like that if he did a big enough pit, couldn't you have just like, and the whole lava come in?
Perhaps, but they're also in a metropolitan city. So, I mean, creating a giant lava pit in the middle of a city seems
why
like
not? Giant vine spirit pit, giant, well.
But I mean, to that point, I think that platinum has a really high melting point.
That's true.
So, I mean, it could like...
He's a lava bender, not a magma bender. God, Liz, get on it.
Seriously.
You're hilarious.
I am, John. I am. Thank you.
Seriously.
Whose idea was this? Because this is amazing. So then we have the idea with how are we going to take care of the mechas that are also attacking from the ground.
Yeah.
So while they're working on that, we have Varrick, who tries to create that trick that he did before earlier using electromagnetic pulse waves to hopefully shut down the mecha.
Yeah.
Which doesn't work on the giant machine.
Right. Because
Julie and Varrick did the thing.
They did the thing.
Darn tootin' they did.
Proposal.
Oh, well, we're not there yet, John. Spoilers.
It was getting there. It was right before that.
It was
point.
before that. Thank you for, I was about to say, I know it was at some point. And did you feel like it was a little forced? Or how do you feel about
No, because it was definitely leading up to it. Like
it was, but I was expecting a kiss before the whole knee bending thing.
No, well, because he had to get through his own feelings before, like even when he was trying to propose or like tell her his feelings.
Yeah, it was kind of perfect.
Yeah, well,
Varrick is the reason for love.
He is.
He is. Thank you,
John agrees that like
does.
love takes its time. I mean, and you got like he tried to tell her using the ostrich horse metaphor.
He did. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, because I was so caught up in. I was so caught up in this, and someone just wrote, "Yes, acrylic is water-based paint." Thank you. Okay, so they could have bent the paint. They could have bended the paint. That's also from the artist friend. He'd know that.
Nice.
But anywho, so they basically, they had the proposal, and I was like, "What is that ring made out of? What is it made out of?" Very, you can afford better.
It's made of jade, I think.
Was it jade? Okay,
yeah.
never mind. You did good. You did good. I thought it was like a vine. I didn't know what it was. But so that happens, and the pulse doesn't work. And then at what point are we here with Prince Wu here? Did we come to this? Did we get there yet?
So Prince Wu stopped being useless?
He did.
He did.
So, yeah, at this point, leading into this, he is trying to get all those people in the train station because Kuvira and them have destroyed the train tracks.
Womp womp.
And so he's trying to keep their spirits up by singing, and then he gets a brilliant idea.
Power.
Hell yeah.
Oh, not while I'm drinking soda, please. Oh, God, it smells so fizzy.
So he gets these two giant badger moles who love his singing.
I got all the warm feels because I just thought of that episode where they were in the cave with Aang and Katara and just the whole thing with the guy singing with the freaking banjo thing, love will lead the way or whatever it is, that stupid song. So that's all I thought the entire time where he's singing to these badger moles.
Right.
And
Badger moles, I choose you.
basically,
the ultimate Pokemon.
Yeah, they're like Sandshrew, except a lot bigger and better. But yeah, so they're singing and they get into it. So he's basically like John said, he's not useless anymore. Gets them in the system, and then we have the mechas who, I guess they weren't affected by the electromagnetic pulse, or this was before he shoots off the electromagnetic pulse. Episode jumps around a bit, guys.
A little bit. I think it was before the electromagnetic pulse, and they wouldn't have been affected anyway because they were outside of the range.
Yeah. But how cool was it that he stepped up and was like, you know what? I was so shocked. And he's like, take me. I'm the prince. I'm supposed to be the heir to the Earth Kingdom. I'm more valuable. Let these people go. They have nothing to do with any of this. Take me. And then he starts singing.
Well, yeah, he's really grown as a character. Like, and I like that because he started as such a buffoon.
I know.
Was
I'm
where
surprised
had
by
started.
his cleverness. Like you didn't think he would be. He was smart. You didn't think it until then. And I almost wish that we saw this in some more episodes other than the last couple. Like I want like a side series of just Prince.
That's a really good point.
Thank you. I want a side series.
Yeah, so writers, take note.
Yeah.
We want mini-sodes with Prince Wu growing and being cool. Mostly singing, because he's going to be pursuing his singing career, as we find out.
Of course. And then the Badger Moles, basically, as singing to the Badger Moles, they kind of go away. The mechs are like, oh, I guess you scared away your Badger Moles. And then they just basically attack and jump and stomp the mechas, and everybody escapes. So go Woo.
Yeah. Woo woo.
Woo woo. And on a side note, I would just like to shout out to an Akash Singh, which is at Akash Smarts, tweeting all of us, including John, great finale, and what a way to cap this journey. Thank you for your passion, love for the show. No, thank you. We love our fans. Thank you guys so much for being huge support in us. We know we started the series in a little late, but we're happy to have had you guys join us for this journey. Again, much love to all you guys. Continue watching. I guess while we're on it, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit and just shout out for iTunes.
Go for it.
So on iTunes, guys, please, we do over 80 hours a week here. I'm not going to say we because I'm going to take credit for that. I'm on like a few shows. But all the producers here, there's over 80 hours of free content that you can find on iTunes and YouTube. We upload these shows on YouTube after it originally airs. Please rate us 5 stars, comment. This is how we get you guys to, voice your opinions. We want to see what you want. Mm-hmm. We love seeing your comments on YouTube. We love seeing the comments on the iTunes feed. And we really appreciate everything, especially, much love. You guys can't see him maybe, but Phil. He's our executive producer here at AfterBuzz, and this guy, I don't think he owns a bed. He's incredibly dedicated to his job here. All of them are. And this is all free content. So enjoy it. Continue the work. We will be back on other shows and continue to tweet us and follow us and join us for the ride.
I'm really hoping that there are going to be some people listening to this on iTunes and actually think I'm there.
Basically, I agree. And
but you are here, John.
Yes. And just as a reminder, we are taking live tweets and everything. So shout us out. Tauri and I are on here. I'm at Lizzie Mawy, LIZZY, Tauri.
Tauri Miller, or Tauri J. Ha ha ha. Taurijay. Ha ha ha.
He doesn't know his own Twitter, guys.
Nope, I'm lost.
He's lost.
All right.
So so basically getting back to this, the episode here. So we have Varrick proposing, Wu's awesome. Varrick proposes to Zhu Li. They use the plasma torches on the 2 flight suits, and basically Hiroshi, and I think it's her. There's 2 people per machine. Mm-hmm. So it's Hiroshi and Asami. And then
Varrick and Zhu Li.
Yes.
Yeah. And so they are essentially trying to find a spot that they can burst into the Colossus, while all the airbenders and the metal benders are trying to basically distract from them getting in there, because they are like mosquitoes and the Colossus is like any human being. It's trying to slap them off.
Yeah, and I love the little mosquito reference they put before, because that's exactly what it is. And I love, who was it, Varrick, I think? He was like, I wish I have that flexibility.
Right.
But then they just like trying to zap the thing, and they had the ejection. I had a feeling Hiroshi was going to do this big thing. I feel like it was a good way. Like, I didn't want him to die. But I mean, really, he was just going to go back to jail anyway. It's not like they would be like, well, you helped save Republic City, so you know what? We're going to just leave you off the hook for trying to kill all the benders off and yada yada.
Well, I mean, he may have gotten a pardon, or I mean, he could have stuck in jail and had Asami visiting him. But I think that this was the best way to end out his redemption, where it's just like, hey, I care about you.
As soon as I saw the ejection pods with Varrick and Zhu Li, I knew that it was going to be used when they were doing it, and when Asami's like, no, we got to go now, and he's like, forgive me, I'm sorry, and I was like, no, and I was like, that's horrific.
Yeah.
That is horrific. And thank God for good censorship and the way they animated it. Like, it was classy. We didn't have to see any gore. So
every season has to have an overly gruesome death that you don't really
We still don't know if Jet ever died. We still don't know.
A disturbing amount of people have died on this show.
Yes. Can we actually talk about that a little bit? Thank you, John. That was a good segue, because, like, I feel like not everyone was evacuated from the city.
Yeah, they made it sound like only a very few percentage actually left, and there was nowhere near the rest of the population in the caves with the badger moles with Prince Zu and Pema.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, I mean, we get all these scenes of the spirit ray blasting these buildings, destroying everything.
I know.
And you have to assume that there are a bunch of... It's like
if
Man
you
of
listen
Steel
really
level
closely
destruction.
and you just hear like in the back. I'm just getting over laryngitis, so I can actually do it. But yeah, I mean, it's still a kid's show, you know. It's rated 8 and older.
Right. So we can just imply
we're just going to pretend that everybody was okay. It's kind of like an old episode of Dragon Ball Z before, like, the dub was actually good, and Vegeta destroys the city and is like, "You're lucky everybody evacuated." And it's like, that's not what he says. So, yeah.
Just wait till my arm grows back. That's not going to happen.
No. So, yeah. So, a lot of people have died in the series before, and I read an article somewhere, and I'm really sorry Google it'll be like the first thing that pops up. But somebody had pointed out that this series has been like an elevated jump in the emotional storytelling that animation has been brought to, especially with Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
You know, we had it first with the original Avatar: The Last Airbender, and we're having it again here and again because the characters are older. We get them when they're around, 15, 16, and now it's 3 years later. So they're like... You know, they're adults.
Probably in their late teens, early 20s, most of them now.
Well, yeah, no, because I think it was like, Korra was like 15, so she's got to be 18, 19 now, so.
Yeah, well, before the jump, it was also like a couple years had passed between the seasons.
Oh, God, math. Yeah. All right, so touche.
Yeah, I mean...
They can drink in Japan.
Going off of, like, the earlier Dragon Ball reference, I mean, the show was really good about growing with its audience. Like, I mean, it started back in, I want to say, like, 2005, 2004, something like that.
Oh, God, yeah.
So it's been almost 10 years. And
Well, put it this way. I was working on a cruise ship at the end of 2007 when they just started airing the Fire chapter for... Last Airbender, and that was like around the end of 2007.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I was definitely like first starting in college or something when they brought this series out. So yeah. I was an adult when I liked it.
It's fine, but like assuming like even people like, cause yeah, I was also in like I think I was in early college, high school, something like that. But like assuming, say you started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender at 7, it's been 10 years. So then, at the point that this series has ended, you are now 17 at the age where all of the all of the Legend of Korra main characters started.
I
mean, it's grown a lot with everyone else.
I just thank you for reminding me of our ages.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Real quick, want to just shout out again to our Twitter followers out there. I have Daniel Riley at RileyDan26. I don't know if you talked about this, but do you think Bolin could lava bend because his mother was a firebender? Hashtag irrelevant. You know what? No, you know what? That's actually a really, really good point. I don't know if they ever specify if someone has to be of both lines of benders to do that. Toph seemed to be pretty darned impressed about it. We have no idea about the background of one of the bad guys.
Ghazan.
Yeah, Ghazan, and if he had, maybe a firebender in his family to make him do that, but possibly, and it would make sense.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. Let's see here. And then again from our friend at Akash Smarts, I would love a new Avatar series focused on an adult Avatar. I really just want to see old Bolin. Touche, I would love to see that too. More so, and I don't know if there's a comic book or something or a side story, but I really would love to just get... I'm sad that we didn't get more of... more background story of what happened to Aang and all of our favorite characters. How did Sokka die? Was he just really old? Did he trip and fall into down a gorge, which I can totally see happening to him?
Well, he was an adventurer, and then he took an arrow to the knee.
Stop it.
You're welcome.
Stop it.
You're very welcome.
Get out right now. So anyway, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on here. We're halfway in here to. Again.
So Hiroshi gets smashed.
Yeah.
And then
Hiroshi smash. Sadness.
Everyone gets inside.
Get in the
mech.
hole. Done.
Yeah.
And then so we have the credits, then the commercials, then we get back and we're into episode 13, The Last Stand. This is when it gets juicy, you guys.
Yeah.
We have basically everybody's in, everybody splits up, everybody has their go, 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 go with what everybody's supposed to be doing. We have obviously Korra going directly after Kuvira. We have Suyin and Lin basically trying to go after destroying the mechanics for the arms and disabling it. And we have Bolin and Mako trying to find the main energy source.
Yes.
So
let's start with Lin and Suyin, because that was awesome.
That was so cool. And I just love how the comment, like, we can really destroy stuff in here. Like, and it's just, and then just like everything just starts like getting like bent and screwed up, and everything is just, and that whole arm, like they discard the arm and the weapon. They basically make this giant mecha, which is like, oh my God, how do we stop it? And there's just, when we think about it, guys, there's really only one gun weapon on this thing.
Right.
Aside from that, it's just a giant walking hunk of junk.
I mean, well, no, because
you could probably smash some stuff or step on someone, but
I mean, the spirit ray was its main weapon, but like with it disassembled, like Kuvira was super quick to just rip off the arm because she knew it was just going to be a hindrance.
Yeah.
And at that point, she could just start smashing buildings and punching ground in the face.
And then again, the whole thing where I think this was the part where they asked Korra, "Are you going to be okay?" Because you went up against her and she's kind of like, nah, I'm good. You know, because we've seen this progression with Korra since the beginning of the series. She was weakened by the poison. She still had it in her system. After the whole thing with Toph and everything, she got it out, but there was still a lot of, I guess, mental.
Well, yeah, she had a lot of mental blocks.
Blocks, that's
she was still trying to figure out where she belonged in the world. I mean, and at this point,
Thanks for screwing her up, Toph.
Well, no, Toph helped a lot because, I mean, up until this point, she hadn't really kind of solidified that she was super close to Kuvira in terms of personality and
yeah, because Toph is the one who said, think of the similarities or the things that you could hold. Think of yourself, what do you see in the enemies that you face so far?
Yeah.
You know, because Toph was the one who brought into, you know, the first guy with the mask.
Amon.
Thank you for having such a good memory.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
Thank God. We had Amon, and he just really just wanted everybody to be equal.
Right.
And then we had
Unalaq, who wanted to bring back the spirits.
Who wanted to, you know, just unify everything and make everything as one. Although he was a little more twisted, I think.
Well, he was the most mustache twirly of all the villains.
And then we have.
And then we had.
There's notes in here. Battle of Zaofu. Nope. Before that.
Yeah. No. But anyway. Yes, and then Zahir, who wanted everyone to be free.
Wanted everybody to free away from, you know, patriarchy or monarchy.
Well, I mean, he doesn't want
totally
any
different.
government. Yeah.
No overrule. Everybody's free to rule themselves, kind of thing. And again, everybody aside from twirly mustachey Unalaq, everybody has a good point. There's an ideology behind it that's not always so evil, but the way they were going about it was totally wrong.
Right.
And the same thing with Kuvira. So we did have that near the end of the episode, which we'll get into, about how that was important, and I think why the realization and why Korra was strong again to be able to, fight against Kuvira. Because like I said, when we recapped that episode, I was very disappointed that after all of these people, you could not get, I mean, Aang as what was he, 11, 12 when he fought the freaking Fire Lord during Sozin's comment, all brah, and he won, and you're against one metal bender who's pretty good, but that's all she is. There's really nothing that special about her except for being a really tactical metal bender. So disappointed.
Well,
told you I'm really critical.
But she at that point she didn't have a sense of purpose. She was more kind of wandering through this world because she was trying not to be, as we call it, Korra Smash. And she was trying to take things.
Just keep on thinking of Hiroshi Smash. Oh, he's dead.
Sad. So that. Her arc has been more about not just punching everything and trying to figure out how to be more understanding of the people that she is going against.
Put the shoe on the other foot kind of thing.
Right.
Hey, Phil, do we have anybody in our chat on YouTube? Any interesting comments or anything? Because we can't really see it on our phones.
Crazy how many main villains had really good intentions. I want to see baby Korra grow into Avatar. A Korra comic is definitely needed. Too many stories to tell.
Yep.
Wu was actually likable in this one.
Yes.
And so on and so forth.
All right. Sounds good, guys.
I would actually like to see baby Korra. Because, like, when we first see Korra introduced as the Avatar...
Best introduction ever.
I'm the Avatar. Deal with it.
Deal
that
with
was amazing. Though it would... I feel like she'd
How
be
do we
super
know she's
Milo-y.
the Avatar? This could be a trick. Oh, man. So we have here... from Andrew Fedge at Tiger Version X. Korra versus Kuvira in the command center battle was intense. The music for this finale was all awesome.
Yes.
That all awesome part was written in all caps lock. So yeah, no, I totally agree. Very intense. And this is the part, again, first half of the season finale, very exciting. This half, definitely where the juiciness gets.
Yes.
So going on to Bolin and Mako now. So Mako so we have the arm disabled and Kuvira throws it off basically. Now Korra is fighting Kuvira in the control room.
Yes.
Very intense going on. Flash forward to Bolin and Mako finding the vines. And this is where we get, a bit of Mako standing up and saying, Bolin's saying basically like, I saw about this working. You think you would know more about when you're hanging out working for Kuvira the whole time.
Right.
Bolin's saying, hey, lay off. And Mako basically saying, well, I guess I'll just use electricity on it. No, didn't you hear me? It's going to explode. Yeah, that's the point.
Right.
So.
Can I say that, like, Lava Disc was the best thing
Oh
that
my God,
both
yes.
Lynn has done ever?
So awesome. I mean, I was like, I saw that. I was like, what the hell was that? The hell? What the hell?
Because it took his pro bending skills and integrated lava bending.
Why
into
did
it.
we have to wait until the last episode to see that used more often? Like how much usefulness that would have had against from whenever he discovered he could lava bend.
Right.
So upsetting. But very exciting and a good way to put that in. I wonder if that was like just somebody like shouting that in, like one of the animators, the storyboard guys was just like, what if he like used the disc? Why didn't you mention that earlier? I don't know, man. It was out to lunch.
Right.
So I'm happy that they at least got that. I thought that was a really cool,
and
memorable
it was really smart.
Shout back.
Other than that, he didn't have any other rock.
Yeah, way to go, Bolin. No. So they had that. Again, everybody splits up and everything. We have basically Lin and Suyin are, they in the discarded arm basically, or a piece that fell off anyway.
Right.
And then Mako is basically going to now try to make the mecha go boom.
Yes.
In the most scientific way I can possibly put it. And again, we get that really cool electricity bending, which I have to say, I am fascinated with this technique because I know that originally it was only Iroh who knew how to do this technique as a firebender all those years ago. And the only way he came up with it was because of watching waterbenders.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like metal bending, because obviously Toph spread it and taught people how to metal bend, and now we have metal benders because she was the very first person to do that.
Yes.
Again, when somebody mentioned definitely need a comic book because there's a lot of side stories that we would love to get into here.
Yeah.
How did Mako learn the lightning bending? Because throughout this whole show, I have yet to see anybody else use that technique as a firebender aside from him. And we know that it originated from Iroh.
Right.
And, and Prince Zuko. And I thought that was a really interesting, from the first time he used it,
Yeah. Well, we haven't had a lot of firebenders being at the forefront.
It's true.
Like, we've had, Iroh, the, son.
Grandson?
Yeah, the grandson.
Son, really?
Yes.
Son. Yeah, anyway.
son. But yeah, so, I mean, he hasn't really been fighting, and we saw Mako use it in the last season finale.
Yes, which was awesome.
So I feel like hasn't mastered it at this point, so he kind of only pulls it out when he absolutely needs to.
No, absolutely, but like I'm saying, I'm just surprised, and that's something that I would love to find a backstory to. Like, who told him? Who, was it you? But yeah, it might have been, I don't know. They're all kind of linked together when you think about it, though, like Katara and...
Right. I mean, and it was no secret. Like, Azula used lightning bending as well.
But Azula was a crazy, maniacal... Snitch,
but she was
knows everything.
Also a firebender, so it's like it wasn't a secret. If you could learn, it's like if you are a martial artist, you could easily pick up another form. So I mean, essentially, he probably was like, "This is a thing I want to learn. Let's see if I can do it." He learned the form. And then he's like, "Yeah,
I wish I could say that about like anything. Like I know how to drive a car, so I'm gonna learn how to drive this manual. Even though I think I've only driven a manual car like once before when my friend was too drunk, and I had to I only stalled that once. So that was pretty cool.
Well, you have the basics down. You know, once this car starts, you can kind of.
I played Cruise in the World. I got this.
Right.
Moving on though.
Yes.
So we have that really cool scene, and basically it does explode the mecha, and we have. Everybody's kind of out over the place, and we have Kuvira and Korra basically getting blasted over to the jungle of all the spirit vines in the center of the city.
Yeah.
Where we have this kind of final, so let's just have final countdown stuck in my head, and they have this battle, and we see that. First of all, I'm just yelling at the screen with Korra, just yelling at her like, "What is wrong?" She's like, "Well, guess you better give up." Runs away. What the hell's wrong with you, Korra? Like, freaking apprehend her.
She got hit in the face with a brick,
I don't care. Hit her again with another brick.
No, Kuvira hit Korra in the face with a brick. So it kind of laid her out so she could escape.
No, I know that, but I'm saying, like, she's talking to her like, "Well, you better give up." Like, first thing you do before you say, "Well, you better give up," is, like, apprehend the chick. Like,
right.
Anywho,
yeah.
My little tidbit and quirks.
When Kuvira runs into the vines and she sees something that we can't see, I had assumed that it was going to be, like, spirits that were about to attack her.
Really?
Yes, mostly because of my last week's prediction of the of the World War II parallel. So and if the spirits were
the thing.
Yeah. So the spirits
you wanted them to do the thing.
I wanted them to do the thing because they were America, and America drops the bomb, etc. And they get involved in the last minute and swoop in and end World War II. So that's what I thought was going to happen, but it didn't. Kuvira found the gun.
I think I was still complaining about Korra allowing herself to get hit in the face with a brick because she started talking, "Well, guess it's over for you," while she's just sitting there and not being apprehended.
Right.
So I didn't even have a chance to think about that. I didn't know what it was because, again, I didn't really pay attention to where the arm was flung. So, but when we came to it, it made a lot of sense. You see the arm, she's shooting it out, and then obviously after Korra's yelling at her to stop, and Kuvira knows, I screwed up, can't stop it.
Yeah.
And we have this really cool scene where Korra basically, I mean, it could have been a sacrifice if she didn't know, like, how you could control the blast of the spirit energy.
Yeah.
But she's the freaking avatar, so.
Well, yeah, and we had the scene earlier when she was in the spirit realm when Rava was telling her that she's most powerful in the spirit realm.
Yes.
So I believe that gave her the confidence to run in and think that she could...
And do the thing.
Yes.
She did the thing.
She did the thing.
And again, with the whole eyes flashy and stuff, and very close to all the spirit vines. And again, you know, she's the avatar. She's a link between the spirits and the humans. So, like, yeah, I can control the spirit energy thing coming at me. And she shields Kuvira.
She does.
And protects
keeping
her.
in with my World War II parallel, when the explosion happens...
Tauri needs to be right.
No, I don't need to be right. I'm just, like, it's a mutual thing between me and John. But still, when the explosion happens of her shielding Kuvira and the portal becomes a thing, it looked just
we have
like
to stop
when
saying
the
a thing
bomb...
because we're going to keep on saying the thing.
Yes. When it becomes a giant ball of energy.
Yes.
It looked like when the bomb
like
was
Goku
dropped.
Spirit Bomb.
Yes.
Yeah. Or your
Goku
World War II reference, whichever comes. Yeah.
It was Fat Man and or Little Boy.
Yes.
Yes.
But no, and I do like that reference, and it was a good, and it was very quiet too. It was kind of like, what the heck just happened? Like, I was kind of a moment where we don't know what happened. We see the light. We don't know. I didn't know she was going to turn into like a super giant. Like, I'm expecting like the koi fish from like the battle at the North Pole with like Aang, and like what's happening. Are we going to see like a giant spirit thing with the bunny ears? That'd be really cool. She's just a giant bunny spirit. But you know, so they can't find them, and they're in the spirit portal, and we see that there is now a new spirit portal connecting the worlds.
Yeah.
And while everybody's freaking out because nobody can find them, we see that they are in the spirit world. And Korra is basically having kind of a heart-to-heart. It's the first time where they're actually talking as two individuals since, I guess, before Kuvira went all power-hungry.
Yeah.
and basically saying, admitting, like we said, the realization of what Toph was saying earlier in the season is, they have a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
And, Kuvira disagrees, and she goes, we're both stubborn. We both want, what's right, and we believe in what's the best. And I should have written more about what she was saying about their similarities. But
well, yeah, she was saying that basically they both go full in.
That's it, full in.
Yeah, to whatever they're doing.
Incredibly stubborn, and they see a path and they just keep going for it. And unfortunately, she just went about it in the wrong way.
Right.
But she just wanted, and I think it was the thing she said about, I know what it's like to feel powerless.
Yes. And
when you can't do anything to help what you think, she wanted what's best for her, the Earth Kingdom, where she's from.
Right.
And,
so she felt abandoned by
her parents.
Yeah, by her parents. And she didn't want the Earth Kingdom to feel that as well.
Yeah.
So, like, in this moment, you realize that all this time, beneath all of her dictatorship, beneath all of her bravado, she's just been a scared little girl trying to do what she thinks is right.
Yeah. And again, love to have some sort of comic book or side story to see about her bringing up with Su-Lin, because I really thought that Su-Yin would have kind of treated her a little bit like a daughter, while raising her and kind of confiding so much in her. It would have been nice to have that kind of like, were you really left out that much?
Well, I think that Su-Yin did treat her like a daughter. And
which is creepy, because then you try to romance your brother and then get him to be your fiance, and that's not how it worked.
No. If you watch The Flash, it's not uncommon. Anyways,
oh, God.
But no, I'm saying, like, I think that is her being treated like a daughter is why it cuts so deep when Su-Yin wouldn't take on the mantle to try to rebuild the Earth Kingdom.
That's true. That's a good point. And again, so basically it comes down to, again, this villain not being super twirly mustache, mwahaha, super evil. There's a whole bunch of different sides to this coin. It's not two-sided, which wouldn't make it a coin. I love my...
Six-sided coin.
Six-sided. 12-sided die? Anyway. Yeah. So we have them coming out of the portal. We have the mechas on, Kuvira's army getting ready to battle again, release her. And Kuvira, now humbled and brought down with the defeat, just saying, no, it's over, it's done. Her apologizing to Su-Yin very quickly, saying, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And I will accept any punishment that is coming my way. And I'm like, if only all enemies could just, like, I'm sorry, I've been a bad boy or a girl. Please just lock me up. Take my TV away for a week.
I love that Su-Yin wasn't like, I understand. She's like, no, you're going to pay for everything you did.
Yeah, like done. You're grounded. No dessert for a month. Yeah, no, and it definitely, I mean, it was kind of like, I almost feel like she's so stubborn. Is thus really what brought you down? Like, I almost felt like she still would have had a little fight at the end, but I think it was perfect the way it ended. Because again, she was raised around these people. She's not just a total stranger coming out. There's links, there's connections, there's feelings, even though she was going to kill her fiance, but blindsided. But yeah, so then we have that. And then we have this great little ending here. And we have flash forward to Zhu Li and Varrick getting married.
Yeah.
And it was so cute, and I love that Bolin was the, what do they call
Officiator.
them? Officiator.
Yes.
With little
he had little shoulder pads. Oh, Pabu?
Pabu.
Yes.
And Pabu's like all dressed up in a little tux and everything. I loved it. And it was just the greatest way to kind of end it, because we kind of wrap up with all the characters. I don't know if you paid attention to the people that were in the audience for the wedding. And they tell them to do the thing before. And my favorite is Zhu Li then tilting Varrick down to dip him in for the kiss. And they do the thing.
It was really cute. Yeah.
It was super cute, very touching, and is a nice way to wrap up that little storyline with those two characters.
Yeah. And then we get a nice little side thing during the reception where Korra is talking to an assortment of people, one of them being Tenzin. Yeah.
And was this before or after Prince Wu?
It's after Prince Wu. But
okay. Well, bringing to Prince Wu really quick, though, we see Mako, because there's a lot of wrap-ups with a lot of the characters. Yes. So at one point, I think we have her speaking with Mako, and Mako saying about how no matter what, I'm always going to be there for you. I will always fight with you. I will always stand by your side. and I'm so glad I met you and I have you as part of my life. So we have this nice little wrap up because it's kind of been very awkward between these characters, between Mako and Asami and Korra. It's always been this thing. Korra and Asami has been chill as, you know, like they're chill, they're cool, but you know, there's always been this thing where and there's been so much action and stuff going on that we've never been able to really have that closing, like, cool, we're friends, we cool.
Yeah, I mean,
follow me on Facebook, we cool. You know?
They've been through a lot together, yes. I mean, we had the weird...
And we don't have to have the romantic thing. Like, it's fine. No one has to wind up with anybody. I mean, we already got a wedding with Varrick, and that's great enough as it is.
Well, I mean, not to jump ahead too much, but Korra and Asami end up together.
Like together?
Together.
Is that really what that was? Because that's what I was thinking what that was.
Yes.
But I was like, is that really what that was?
Kurosami is a thing.
That is a thing.
It's a thing.
That's what you were talking about.
Yes.
In your tweet with the thing.
Yes.
Or someone tweeted it, you retweeted
John,
it. John retweeted it.
John told
that's
us
a thing.
that it's a thing.
Because they did hold hands, but girls hold hands is what we do.
Right,
like a thing.
but like it was a moment because we've been kind of leading up to this where Asami and Korra, like Asami was the only one that she was writing to.
That's true.
And they've like really built up their relationship, and they've had each other's back this whole time. And so it's like at the end when they're sitting on that dock,
or whatever that was, staircase outside the wedding.
Staircase. It's them kind of coming to a mutual understanding. They're like, you're kind of, I mean, and they leave it open enough to where you could be like, all right, they're just friends, but like this has been a building relationship.
I'm fine with that. I am fine with that. Okay. I just feel like, you know what? I'm fine with that. It's cool.
What is it? Did you have a feeling? It just sounded like you had feelings.
No, it's something that's so out of there. Like, I just feel like, well, first of all, just wrapping it up real quick, you know, we'll get back to that because something's really good to end on. But we have, again, so we have the closure with Mako. We have Prince Wu and Mako giving him, like, I heard you pretty awesome. My cousins told you were cool. Yeah. Prince Wu announces that he wants Earth to be democratic. He's not being lazy or anything. He just feels that it should be separate states and each state being individually governed, which is great. And he's grown up a lot as a character. I really like him. I'd love a side series, even if it's like a 2-part episode or something. And then we have... you know, Tenzin basically telling Korra how proud he is of her growth, everything she's been through, and her basically saying, I feel like there's so much left that I have to do. Yeah. And Tenzin's like, well, duh, you're like 20, so, you know, get on it. So, in not so many words. He walks back to the party, and we have that moment, like you said, with Korra and Asami, and just talking about vacation and stuff, and I feel like we could leave it on that note. I'm fine with that. I am all for it.
Okay.
I think it's left open to interpretation.
Well, yes, it's
people can do that. They can think, oh, good, they're best friends. Because here's the thing: like, I have a best female friend.
Yes.
That when I'm in a certain area of depression or sadness, or I don't want to talk to anybody, that's the only person I will confide in. Yes. My apartment is a wreck right now. She's the only person I will allow inside because, like, you know me, girl. It's okay. You can come in. Don't mind the laundry on the floor.
Right.
But it's one of those things where, again, it could be taken as an interpretation. It could have been a thing, you know, they're now together as a couple. Fine, that's great. But I don't feel like it necessarily has to be that. Like I said, I'm happy with nobody having to have a romantic relationship for it to be a happy ending.
Yes, and that it leaves off open-ended enough to where, I mean, it's not like they definitively make out at the end of the episode. It's just like, hey, really we're going to go on a vacation together. Yeah. And they end facing one another in the spirit portal. And you're like, all right, cool. It could be, hey, they're just friends, or it could be like, hey, we're being progressive in this moment and having this main character,
which is super awesome.
Yeah.
And I kind of always felt that way about Korra anyway. Like, look at those arms. Those are awesome body you know, like, we're gonna
right.
I wish I had her arms.
But yeah, so like, and I think that the writers are smart enough to be like, all right, I mean, this is still a kid's show. I mean, and parents are allowed to
so the adults, the people who've been watching this since they were adults, they can get it, they can find it. It's great, it's progressive. Let's move on. And then for the kids, it's like you have a little 5-year-old girl, you know, having a sleepover with her best friend, saying, "Yay, they're like us." So it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, either way, I'm really happy with the ending. I really hope for side stories in the series. I'm sad that it's over.
Yeah.
And, you know, but we still have each other to chat with and nerd out about it. And you guys out there can continue following us on Twitter, Instagram, and find Tauri, myself, and Mr. John Quick on other TV shows here at AfterBuzz.
Yes, ma'am.
But we're going to wrap it up. It's been a really great series. Tauri, I love you.
Aw,
Love you, man.
Love you too.
And yeah, guys, catch us and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Tauri, where can the people find you? And you doing any other shows here?
I do. You can find me on Twitter at TauriJ. That's TaurijAY. You can also find me on the Flash and Arrow after shows and assorted other places. Follow
if
me
you
on
follow
Twitter,
him, he'll tell you.
Yeah, basically. Before it jumps off of me, I just wanted to say thank you for following us. You know, watching every show, giving us your comments, and really being genuinely awesome people. I really appreciate it. This isn't the last we're gonna interact, but sad to see you go.
Awesome. And you guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been such a great experience here with the show, and I hope to work with John and Tauri on many more and see you guys on the other shows. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Lizzie Mawy. That's LIZZYMAWY. You can also check me out. I'm going to be on the Doctor Who Christmas special. That will be announced when we figure out the date for that. I'll be on Helix and a couple other shows coming, so just check me on Twitter and I'll let you know there, okay?
And you can follow John at NowQuick. Spelled
at Now Quick.
Yeah. On Twitter at NowQuick.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you around.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.